Hi again, it's Chris at Cork and Crown. I'm going to try another cider for you. We're going to try this guy. This is the Bridge Farm Sweet. So it's just called Sweet because it's a blend of quite a few different apples. It's not a specific single variety. Nigel Stewart, cider maker, has a lot of different varieties on his farm. They also buy apples from neighbouring farms as well, but it's all within a tractor ride, of where he is. When I was there yesterday, he told me that he just started planting perry trees. They planted some perry trees, some specific varietals like Blakeney Red, some classic varietals basically, because they couldn't get enough perry pears to make the amount of perry that they wanted to make, basically. So they planted their own. Also, they didn't have as much control over the stuff that we're getting from other people. So it's given some more control, some more interesting varieties. I think that's probably going to be a long-term project because it takes a while to get perry trees to establish, as far as I'm aware. But this is not a perry. This is a sweet cider. You may notice it's been opened already, and I've drunk some. That's because this is the second time I've made this film, because I made it once and then immediately deleted it. So here I am doing it again. Anyway, so this is a nice colour, this, isn't it? Look at that. Nice colour. Bright. Assume it's filtered. It's nice and bright. Sort of a pale amber. Screw cap. That's interesting, isn't it? Still cider. Screw cap's fine. We'll talk about closures at some point. Actually, people have been asking me, why Cork and Crown? Well, the fact of the matter is, those are the closures on the ciders that I sell for the most part. So you get a crown cap. Crown cap is like the crimped cap you get that you see on beer bottles that you take off with a bottle opener. And the cork is, well, you know what a cork is, and usually held in place with like a cage on top, a bit like a champagne bottle. So Cork and Crown refers to the closures. On this occasion, we have a screw cap. I didn't think that Cork, Crown and Screw had quite the same ring to it, so I ignored the screw cap. Anyway, this is a screw cap. So let's try this. 6.5%. It's alright. Let's give that a clean out. So, I love sugar. I love sugar. I can drink really sweet wines all day. But the thing to bear in mind is, as much as I like sugar, what makes sugar really sing is acidity. Okay, so if you have something which has sugar and acidity, the two balance each other out, and you go back again and again and again. I've mentioned this with some other ciders that I've tried, but think of it like a lemon tart citron, something like that, where you've got sugar, but the acidity, that tingle, that mouth-watering element, cleanses your palate. You go back and have more. You go back and have more. So what could be cloying, and you could only eat so much of, or drink so much of, becomes much more consumable if it's got acidity. Let's have a sniff of this. It smells. It smells like an apple dessert. That's what it smells like. There's a little bit of citrus coming from it as well. Sort of a citrus lime thing, possibly. It doesn't smell like it's going to be cloying, but one thing to bear in mind, it does smell like it's going to be sweet, but one thing to bear in mind is you can't smell sweet. You can only perceive it on your palate. So you can smell something that you think is going to be sweet, but then when you drink it, it could be bone dry. I think what is happening is when you smell something that you think is sweet, it's because you smell something in it that you associate with sweetness. So if I smelled something like a wine, for example, that smelled of honey, or cider rather, that smelled of honey, I might think this is sweet because I associate honey with sweetness. When I drink it, that's the only time I'm going to find out whether it's sweet or not. Okay, so just because something smells sweet doesn't mean it is sweet, and you can get a bit of a shock. I'm going to use my new swirling mat, courtesy of Secret Orchard. So you'll be hearing me while I'm swirling, rather than deafening you with the noise of glass on wood. Yeah, I'm going to taste this. Actually nice. For me, it's great. For some people it'll be too sweet, but for me it's great. The sugar, but there is that acidity there, you know, and it's like lemon lime. It is. The sweetness is it's like poached apple. It's like an apple pie kind of sweetness to it. Maybe a hint of banana or green banana or something like that as well. There's tannin as well. It's coating my mouth. It's not as viscous as a sweet wine would be, like a Tokai, Sauternes, that style of thing. If you're into sweet wines, I'm into sweet wines. Because the alcohol is low, it's not as viscous. Alcohol is viscous. This is about half the ABV of a dessert wine, so it's not going to be as mouth coating. But having said that, if you're into dessert wines, you're going to be into this. But again, there it is again, the tannin, squeaky mouth, and it has and it's perceived as bitterness tannin. So I think it just takes the edge off. The acidity and the tannin just balances out the sugar, makes it much more drinkable. Yeah, I mean, I love sweet stuff. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about whether I would recommend a sweet cider. I mean, I basically can eat golden syrup from a tin with a spoon. Fact, I can do that. So this is always going to be right up my street. If you're going to pair it with something, I'll take off my cider hat, put on my cheese hat, something with salt, something blue. Not aggressive blue, not too blue, not like a crazy Roquefort, which for me is often out of whack anyway. It's usually too hot, too salty. Something like a Colston Bassett Stilton, which is creamy and has sweetness, but has salt as well. Salt and sugar, like acidity and sugar, are kind of opposite, and opposites attract. They work very well together. If you ever want to pair something very sweet with the food stuff, salty is always a great way to go. So yeah, a really great blue cheese would be magnificent with this, I think. But I think actually all cheese has salt, so lots of cheeses can go with sweet beverages, be it wine or cider actually. So yeah, there you go. That was the Bridge Farm, made by Nigel Stewart at Bridge Farm in Somerset. I like it very much. He does a medium and a dry, which I've also got, so I'm going to taste those as well at some point. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching. Cheers.